Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. So this is an article from IGN, and it's basically saying it is not a direct sequel to Final Fantasy 1. And they basically got a translation from the game director. Let's see. Oh, actually, it was from
the creative producer,
yeah,
Tetsuya
Tetsuya
Nomura, who also did the character designs.
Yeah. So
let's
let's see what he says real quick.
Yeah.
Stranger of Paradise is not a direct continuation of Final Fantasy 1's story, but a new story inspired by it, Nomura says. The trial version consists of a part in the beginning of the game in which you enter the Chaos Shrine, which is the same as in Final Fantasy 1. All right. The game was inspired by Final Fantasy 1. The setting is based on Final Fantasy 1 as well. Where did the Warriors of Light come from and who are they? This is something you will find out in the ending of Final Fantasy 1, Nomura explains. Jack and his friends are strangers in the same way. Who are Jack and his friends? Are they the Warriors of Light? These function as the main themes of the story. So in the story, they are depicted as the strangers. Stranger of Paradise director Daisuke Inoue added that while the title can be interpreted literally to mean Jack and his friends as strangers in the new land, Inoue says that it can also be interpreted as those that do not belong in paradise. So, yeah, that's kind of a interesting breakdown there.
Yes.
So yeah, we played the trial.
Yes.
And yeah, let me know what were your thoughts on it.
Well, initially, before we even get to the trial, initially when I saw the trailer, I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, "What are you doing?"
Good point.
This looks nothing like Final Fantasy.
Good point.
Granted, they're using enemies that are familiar to Final Fantasy, like the bomb.
Yeah.
And they have Garland in there, who Garland is the most Final Fantasy looking thing in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like really, again, look and feel, tone, design, it looks completely like its own thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like its own thing. Which is not to say that it's bad, but when it's something that is tacked on or connected to the world of Final Fantasy with Final Fantasy 1, and Final Fantasy 1's a vibrant game.
Yeah.
It's just the lack of color and the fact that this dude comes in with like some pants and a shirt.
Yes.
and some boots.
He has a T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. And he looks like he came out of H&M.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm ready to fight.
Yeah.
So, and like that world of Final Fantasy, at the very least in Final Fantasy 1, is definitely like medieval fantasy.
Yeah.
And it just, nothing about that harkened to medieval fantasy type. And then the uninspired names and the character designs. The character designs are whack, for lack of a better word.
But as you play the demo, you start unlocking a lot of armor.
Yes.
And then you see what they're going for. They're going for a fully customizable look for your character. Yeah. Even though some of the pieces were generic in the demo.
Yes.
But you yourself said, I asked you if you thought the demo had reused assets from Final Fantasy Online, and you said no, but it looks like they reused assets from Nioh.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we had this conversation a couple of episodes ago about like how I felt about the idea of a Final Fantasy cross Dark Souls / Nioh game, and I, erroneously brought up some concern about the gameplay. And Nioh, the Nioh developers, Team Ninja, killed it.
Yeah.
It is fast. It is fun.
Yeah.
And
flexible.
And versatile, yes. Incredibly.
Very flexible.
And
you can switch jobs in the middle of a combo.
Yes.
In the middle of a combo. That's insane.
And not just that, but you're switching jobs, but also you can map different abilities as you see fit to a combo string.
Yeah.
And they have, I believe, 3 to 4 different combo strings that you can choose, like R1 and then press R2 and then R1, R1, R2, R1, 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 R2.
Yeah.
And you can map different abilities to each one, which would change up your combo.
Yeah.
And like, so you don't lose the muscle memory when you're doing those kinds of moves. If
Yes.
anything, it's just the visual, and it's just, it's brilliant.
Yeah. And also you have the, what was it called? The Soul Shield?
Yes, the Soul Shield.
That is a huge part of the game,
Yes.
believe it or not, because...
And the brake system.
Yeah.
The brake system replaces the stamina system of Nioh.
Yeah.
But go on.
Yeah, so when you're in the middle of the combat, sometimes you're facing enemies like that kind of mini boss guy early on, and you can hit him, but if you're not staggering him, he can just whack you in the middle of your combo.
Yes.
There's no, like, if you don't stun the enemy...
There's no iframes.
Yeah, yeah. So...
Right? I haven't seen...
I didn't see any.
Yeah, you can dodge, you can use Soul Shield, but I don't think there's iframes. Because literally, I'll be in combos, and there's so many people around me, they're like whacking me, and
Yes.
I'm like, I'm doing moves, leave me alone.
Yeah, and that's where the Soul Shield comes into play.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to... And it's kind of like Mortal Shell.
I have yet to play it.
Okay, yeah.
I bought it for you.
Yes, I
haven't
played the
played it.
demo, but I haven't played the game yet. But Mortal Shell essentially has this one-off move where you become hardened, and you can block any enemy attack. But
Any direction?
your whole shell becomes hardened. But
Mortal Shell.
you can only use it once per cooldown or whatever.
Mm.
So you have to pick it and time it perfect. Same thing with this Soul Shield, even though it's a little bit more flexible.
Yes.
Because you can use it more often.
Yes.
But it's the same
You
concept.
can kind of spam it.
Yeah, you can kind of spam. But if you spam it at the wrong time, you get punished.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's kind of the same concept. Like, it's very powerful, but you need it, but you need to time it properly.
And an added level to this, because that's one of the things that I found fascinating about the demo, was the level of flexibility and the awesome abilities that you have at your disposal. Is if you do Soul Shield on a specific enemy move, for instance, the bomb doing a fire attack, you can gain fire as an ability and then use that on someone
by
else.
pressing square.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
And if they throw a rock, it's essentially it's like you're catching.
You're collecting. Yeah.
Yeah, you're capturing what they're doing and you're throwing it back.
Like was it Ness? How he pockets things?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the gameplay, like, if you saw the demo or the trailer and you were like us, you were a little bit skeptical.
Yes.
Don't be about the trailer or the demo. Go play it.
Yeah.
Because, man,
especially if you're a fan of Nioh,
yeah.
or like Dark Souls type, because the gameplay has a speed to it.
Yes.
That is unlike Dark Souls, and I would say it's a more akin to Nioh, but I'd say it's even faster. And the only reason because there's no stamina gauge, you can move ad nauseum.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can just keep going, and I think they took that into account. So they've upped the amount of enemies that are attacking you at any given moment.
There's a lot of enemies in
So
the
there's a lot of strategy in terms of dodging correctly, using Soul Shield when possible, and then, you know, keeping your positioning in place so that you can go ahead and, you know, counteract however you see fit.
Yeah.
So it's very cool. I dig that. But the only thing, again, art direction.
Yeah, yeah.
Like change that. Look, when I saw Jack for the first time, I was like, I gave it a pass.
Yeah,
and I gave it a pass only because I was like, I think this is a character creation type character.
Yes.
You know, where you just go ahead and you put whatever things together to make your character.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. He, like I said,
he looks rough.
You can change all his armor and stuff, but the game needs to be polished.
Yes.
Yeah, it needs to be polished. So.
And the thing is, if you have a PlayStation 5, you download the demo and you play it, you can go ahead and, it has difficulty modes.
Yeah, they actually have easy, to normal, and hard.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you tried hard, and it's hard, right?
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah. I was up until like 3 a.m. fighting Garland. Like, I already knew his moveset.
Yeah.
I could, like, dodge him however saw fit. But once he gets you, like, it's like practically a one-hit kill kind of combo that he gets into.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's so frustrating because you gotta dance around and be perfect.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say? Oh, yes. So after the demo, you can go ahead and do a survey. They have a survey for the demo, and you don't even have to complete it. The demo, that is. But you can go ahead and give them your feedback. So one of the feedback that I gave was literally like, hey, I'm feeling this gameplay, but, you know,
Gotta make it look better.
make it look better. Make it look more like Final Fantasy, please. Because they also had a hand in making Dissidia NT, and Dissidia NT looked awesome. It was a fantastic Final Fantasy game, a looking game. So bring some of that in there. I would love that.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, if you're lucky enough to have a PS5, try it out.
Yes.
It's a good demo.